Hey, me again. Been a while. Thank you for being a viewer. How do I have over the double digits now? That's funny. I didn't think anybody would ever watch these. I guess they're helping. Maybe. I don't know. So we're going to go on into different types of workplace harassment. I think I underestimated prior to studying and talking with other HR professionals how prevalent this is. I knew it was always prevalent, but how things that may seem like common sense are not common sense, and the type of issues that you'll run into when you become an HR professional. So the first type of harassment we're going to go over is what most people think of, and that is sexual harassment. So it's basically just defined as any behavior, verbal or physical, that is unwelcome. There are two different types of sexual harassment, and that's quid pro quo, and you're going to see that a lot in cases where the supervisor is the offender, and then there's the hostile work environment. Let me make sure I got that right. Or the hostile environment, basically. And that's when somebody's just creating a really uncomfortable work environment that's hostile, and people don't want to come to work because of the sexual advances and whatnot. So there's more to it, but that's the general kind of gist of it. There's a lot going on in the media right now with Matt Lauer and all that stuff, so it's likely that you've heard a lot about this at this point in time. Then when it comes to other types, we're going to go into sexual orientation harassment. So one of the laws that has to pertain to this, or court cases, I should say, not really laws, is the OnCale versus Sundower Offshore Services and Pier Warehouse versus Hopkins. I know I said that with the wrong emphasis some places, but that's a federal law case. Look into it to learn more. But that's when you're harassing people for the LGBTQ community and anything else that falls under that. Then we move on to transgenders, which is when people harass people that were born as one gender but identify as another. So that would be like making fun of, or I'm using making fun of to a lighter note because I think that I know that it can be way worse. I don't think, but just using it as a light. But that's harassing somebody for things like somebody like that was birthed a male, and that's wearing a dress, but that's because they identify as a female, and they should not be harassed for that. I feel like that should go without saying. And then we have the male versus female. So that's not like sexual harassment, that's just harassing somebody based off of their gender in general. It's really a prevalent thing. It is, and it's really basic, I'm sure, but it still happens a lot. So then we go into racial harassment, which this one is huge too. I can't believe this. My mind is so, I guess, millennial-esque, where I don't see these things as much. So it's like weird to me that people would do that to someone, but I understand it happens and I see it a lot. It's just, I don't get why people would want to. But anyway, so we go into racial harassment, and that is kind of a huge deal. So in here, I'm just kind of reading this because it's a big deal. A lot of the treatment, I always say the word desperate treatment based on race cases resulted in 31,000 EEOC charges in the fiscal year of 2015. The employment actions that were covered in the alleged discrimination cases included the gamut from hiring and firing to work assignments, training, and promotion. So all different types of harassment you can be harassed in all of these different things, from training, hiring, firing, all of that. All of them deal with that, but that was just a huge issue when it came to race. But you'll see that in other things too. People not just being denied jobs or promotions or anything like that, just actual coworkers doing the same thing. But then we go on to religious harassment. That would be like offering somebody during Ramadan food. There's so many different things you can do to disrespect somebody's religion. Don't do it. Seriously, don't. Then we go into the national origin harassment. And so that is including behaviors of poking fun at people because of their heritage, You can't change that. Why would you make fun of somebody? I mean, I'm just being like real tonight. Why? Then we have disability harassment, and I kind of like how the book says this first sentence because it's really true. While arguably the cruelest of all harassments, disability can be either aimed at mental or physical disability. That is seriously, you're making fun of somebody for being mentally disabled? No. Why would you do that? I don't get that, seriously. Then you get age harassment. So that one's interesting too because it's saying like there's thought to be the most benign out of all the other possible targets, but that happens until you're the oldest person, and that's why there's the ADEA that was invented too, because don't make fun of people because of their age. You can't change that either. Why are people making fun of people for things they can't change? I don't get it. And then the veteran status. I mean, seriously? What? And I know this happened after the Vietnam War, so it was probably a bigger issue then, but don't make fun of our troops, man. That's just wrong. So then it says harassment based on any other factors. So the EEOC says that any individual characteristic protected by one of the federal or equal opportunity laws can be the basis for a complaint of workplace harassment. Just because it isn't sexual harassment doesn't mean that there is a green light for the behavior. So that's why we kind of went on to these other types. There's a lot more to it, sure. I know there is because I glossed over this, but it's still a 7-minute video. Go ahead, just remember, don't make fun of people for things that they can't change or at all. Seriously, be nice. Just be nice, guys. All right, well, thanks for watching. Hope this helps.